Final stage of Budget 2021-22 begins with Halwa ceremony in Finance Ministry. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman launches the Union Budget mobile app, Union Budget 2021-22 to be delivered in paperless form for the first time. Home Minister to attend opening ceremony of first Bodo Territorial Region, that is BTR Accord Day celebration. Today in Kokrajhar, Shah will also hold two public meetings in Assam, which is scheduled to go to polls this year. Today is National Girl Child Day, aimed to raise concern over declining sex ratio. Government flagship program Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme has increased awareness and has sensitized masses on gender equality. Out of 640 districts, 422 districts show improvement in sex ratio at birth. India and China to hold 9th round of Corps Commander level military talks to address the ongoing military standoff in eastern Ladakh. Talks to be held in Moldo opposite the Chushul sector. International Film Festival of India to conclude with grand closing ceremony today in Goa. Celebrates Netaji's 125th birth anniversary year yesterday with special screening of The Forgotten Hero. Good morning, you're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting this bulletin this Sunday morning. In the next half an hour, we'll get to an account of everything that's making it to the headlines. Our top story first. The Halwa ceremony marking the final stage of the budget making process for Union Budget 2021-22 was held in the presence of Union Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in New Delhi on Saturday. A customary Halwa ceremony is performed every year before the lock-in process of budget preparation begins. In an unprecedented initiative, Union Budget 2021-22 will be delivered in paperless form for the first time. The Union Budget 2021-22 is to be presented on 1st of February 2021. On the occasion, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman launched the Union Budget mobile app for hassle-free access of budget documents by members of Parliament and the general public using the simplest form for digital convenience. The mobile app facilitates complete access to 14 Union Budget documents, including the annual financial statement, demand for grants and finance bill as prescribed by the Constitution. The app has a user-friendly interface with embedded features of downloading, printing and search. It is bilingual, English and Hindi, and will be available in both Android and iOS platforms. Budget documents will be available on the mobile app after completion of the budget speech by Finance Minister on 1st of February. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will attend the opening ceremony of the first anniversary of the signing of Bodo Territorial Region Peace Accord in Kokrajhar today. The Home Minister will also hold two public meetings in Assam, which is scheduled to go to polls this year. As part of his two-day visit to the Northeast, earlier on Saturday in Meghalaya, he presided over the 69th plenary meeting of the Northeastern Council. In Shillong, the 69th plenary meeting of the Northeastern Council was attended by governors and chief ministers of northeastern states, along with large number of delegations of state governments and central ministries. The meeting discussed various developmental projects. Northeastern Council is the nodal agency for economic and social development of the Northeastern region. Amit Shah said that Modi government is leaving no stone unturned in promoting Northeast on the world map and bringing in progress and prosperity in the region. He launched Ayushman Bharat Yojana, Ayushman CAPF for CAPF personnel and their dependents in Guwahati. Home Minister also presented Ayushman CAPF e-cards to CAPF officers and jawans. Now, with these e-cards, the beneficiaries can avail of cashless health services at PMJAY and CGHS empaneled private hospitals. India and China will hold the 9th round of Corps Commander level talks to address the ongoing military standoff in eastern Ladakh. The talks will be held in Moldo opposite Chushul sector in LAC, nearly 2 months after both sides last met. The militaries of the two nations chaired last level of talks on 6 November 2020. Now, as per the reports, Lieutenant General PGK Menon of 14th Corps Commander will represent Indian side, while Chinese side will be led by Xinjiang Military Region Commander Major General. The agenda of the meeting is scheduled to be on de-escalation and disengagement of forces from LAC. And due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the Republic Day parade this year will end at the National Stadium instead of going up to the Red Fort where it usually concludes. The contingent strength too has been reduced from 144 to 96 in wake of the pandemic.
इस वर्ष की रिपब्लिक डे परेड के आयोजन में कोविड महामारी के चलते हुए कुछ बदलाव लाए गए हैं। वो इस प्रकार से है। जैसा कि आपको मालूम है कि रिपब्लिक डे परेड विजय चौक से शुरू होकर राजपथ होते हुए लाल किले पर समाप्त होती है, लेकिन इस वर्ष ये परेड नेशनल स्टेडियम पर समाप्त होगी।
Today is the National Girl Child Day, aimed to raise awareness and concern over the declining sex ratio. It was started by the Ministry of Women and Child Development and the Government of India in 2008 with the purpose to spread awareness among people about all inequalities girls face in the society. The central government has taken several steps from last 6 years to change this and improve the condition of the girls. Several campaigns and programs such as Save the Girl Child, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, free or subsidized education for the girl child, reservations for women in colleges and universities have been initiated to reduce this discrimination. To mark the National Girl Child Day, Haridwar-based teenage girl Srishti Goswami will become the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand for one day. And Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao scheme, which was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 22nd of January 2015, has completed 6 years. Now, during the last 6 years, the sex ratio at birth has improved by 16 points from 918 in 2014-15 to 934 in 2019-20. The gross enrollment ratio of girls in schools at secondary level has improved from 77.45 to 81.32, and the objective of Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme was to bring behavioral changes in the society towards birth and rights of a girl child. As a result, increase in awareness and sensitization of the masses regarding prevalence of gender bias and role of community in eradicating it. Out of 640 districts under the scheme, 422 districts have shown improvement in sex ratio at birth from 2014-15 to 2018-19. Percentage of first trimester and registration has shown an improving trend from 61% in 2014-15 to 71% in 2019-20. Also, percentage of institutional deliveries has shown an improvement trend from 87% in 2014-15 to 94% in 2019-20. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has tweeted to mark this day. In a tweet, he said, and I quote him, "On National Girl Child Day, we salute our Desh Ki Beti and the accomplishments in various fields. The central government has undertaken many initiatives that focus on empowering the girl child, including access to education, better health care, and improving gender sensitivity. Today is also a day to especially appreciate all those working towards empowering the girl child and ensuring that she leads a life of dignity and opportunity." Vaccination is the only method through which immunity can be improved against COVID-19, says AIIMS Director Randeep Guleria. Talking to DD News, Dr. Guleria has highlighted the importance of the vaccine, adding that inoculation is required to bring back normalcy amidst the COVID-19 situation.
अगर हम देखें रोज वैक्सीन अपटेक बढ़ जा रहा है और लोगों में जो शुरू में हेजिटेंसी थी वो कम हो रही है, लेकिन मैं अभी भी यही कहूँगा कि लोग आगे आएँ, वैक्सीन लगाएं, क्योंकि वैक्सीन ही एकमात्र मेथड है जिससे हम इस पैंडेमिक से निकल पाएंगे। चाहे हम लोगों की जान बचाने की बात करें, चाहे इकोनॉमी की बात करें या स्कूल खुलने की बात करें, इन सब के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम वैक्सीन लगा के अपने सारी पॉपुलेशन में गुड अमाउंट ऑफ इम्यूनिटी लाएं।
And speaking on the new vaccines, the AIIMS director said that Sputnik vaccine is in phase 3 trial. He added that Zydus Cadila vaccine has also got the permission for phase 3 trials. Dr. Guleria stated that the trials for these vaccines will be completed in 4 to 6 weeks and they will also get emergency authorization.
तो अगर हम देखें तो जो डॉक्टर रेड्डीज लेबोरेटरी है जो स्पुतनिक वैक्सीन है उसकी फेज़ 3 ट्रायल कर रहे हैं। कैडिला को भी परमिशन मिल गया फेज़ 3 ट्रायल करने की, जो उनको डीएनए वैक्सीन है। तो मेरा मानना है कि अगले 4-6 हफ्तों में ये वैक्सीन की ट्रायल ख़त्म हो जाएंगी, इनको इमरजेंसी ऑथराइजेशन मिल सकता है और हमारे पास और भी वैक्सीन होंगी जिनको हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं।
And up next, we take a quick look at COVID-19 update from across the country. Now, as per the latest data released by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, COVID-19 recovery rate has reached 96.83%. 15,948 COVID patients recovered during the last 24 hours. According to the Health Ministry, the total number of recoveries has gone up to over 1,31,06,786. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 1,84,408. Also, India's case fatality rate is at 1.44%, which is one of the lowest globally. Also, according to the Indian Council of Medical Research, that is ICMR, a total of 19 crore 17,66,871 samples have been tested for COVID-19 so far, out of which 7,81,752 samples were tested yesterday. Finance Ministry has tweeted the success of Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi scheme. The Finance Ministry has a target of reaching to all districts across the country, offering 2,000 medicines and 300 surgicals by 2024. Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi's objective is to make quality medicines available at affordable prices for all. The government has set a target to increase the number of Jan Aushadhi Kendras to 10,500 by the end of March 2025. Let's take a look at some of the key features of the scheme.
It is a well-known fact that branded medicines are sold at significantly higher prices in the country. Given the widespread poverty across the country, making available reasonably priced quality medicines has always been a priority for the government. With the vision to provide quality medicines at affordable rates to the common man, especially the poor, the government has set a target to increase the number of Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras. Last year, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced to expand Jan Aushadhi Kendra scheme to all districts, offering 2,000 medicines and 300 surgicals by 2024. At present, there are 7,000 Jan Aushadhi Kendras in the country.
6,000 रुपए की दवाई सर 3,000 रुपए में मिली है। सस्ती दवाइयाँ हैं सर और अच्छी भी हैं सर। बाहर मेडिकल वाले सर बहुत ज़्यादा महंगी रेट में देते हैं दवाइयाँ ये। मैं तो चाहता हूँ ये सारे मेडिकल अगर आप जन सुविधाएं अगर गांव-गांव खोलेंगे तो जन तक सुविधाएं पहुँचेंगी सारी सर।
रेट वेट सही है इसलिए हम लोग यहाँ पे आते हैं।
हाँ, मार्केट से तो सस्ती मिली है सर, बाहर से तो ठीक है, केमिस्ट से तो
30-40% डिस्काउंट के साथ मिली है।
पेशेंट यहाँ से 6-6 महीने 8-8 महीने की मेडिसिन ले जाता है, बिकॉज 5-10 रुपए या स्किन की दवाइयाँ जो टर्बिना फाइन आपको पता होगा नॉर्मली 200 to 250 के बीच आता है एक पत्ता, हमारे यहाँ वो ओनली 36 रुपये का पड़ता है। तो पेशेंट आराम से ले जाता है विदाउट एनी हेजिटेशन, क्योंकि पता है कि जो चीज़ ऑलरेडी मार्केट में थी कॉस्टली है, उन्हें यहाँ पे मुश्किल से 20-25 रुपये में पड़ती है।
So far, 734 districts of the country have been covered under the scheme. The government has set a target to increase the number of Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras to 10,500 by the end of March 2025. The number of medicines offered under the scheme has also been increased to 1,449. As of now, the number of surgicals offered under the Jan Aushadhi scheme has been increased to 204. The expansion of the Jan Aushadhi Kendra network will ensure easy reach of affordable medicines to the people in every nook and corner of the country. And the budget is expected to strengthen the scheme further. Taposh Bhattacharya's report, DD India.
Today is the foundation day of Uttar Pradesh, the country's largest state in terms of population. It was created on 1st of April 1937 as the United Provinces of Agra and Audh during British rule. Later, it was renamed Uttar Pradesh on 24 January 1950. Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has tweeted to greet the nation. He said, and I quote him, "Many greetings to my brothers and sisters of Uttar Pradesh on its foundation day. The state has immense possibilities of development on which work is being done under the leadership of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. I wish Uttar Pradesh continuously prosper and develop. Also, Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Prakash Javadekar, has greeted the nation on this occasion. In a tweet, he said, and I quote him, "Many greetings to the people of Uttar Pradesh, the largest state of India, where the amalgamation of Yamuna and Saraswati River takes place and where grand temples of Lord Ram, the Grand Temple of Lord Ram is being built." Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has also shared his greetings. The Chief Minister said in a tweet, and I quote him, "Greetings to the people of Uttar Pradesh, the holy birthplace of Lord Ram and the land of Shri Krishna and the origin of Indian culture on its foundation day. Let's pledge to realize the concept of Atmanirbhar Uttar Pradesh." Himachal Pradesh will be celebrating its Golden Jubilee on Monday. It got full statehood on 25th of January 1971. Talking to media, Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Jairam Thakur said that Union Home Minister Amit Shah will be the chief guest at the Golden Jubilee function, which will be held on the Ridge. The function will take place in the presence of BJP President JP Nadda and Union Minister Anurag Thakur, and it will be presided over by Himachal Pradesh Governor Bandaru Dattatreya. And the 51st International Film Festival of India, which started on January 16th in Goa, will conclude today. The preparations for the closing ceremony are in full swing. Screenings of films in different regional languages and on various subjects have been organized during the film festival. IFFI on Saturday organized a special screening of Shyam Benegal directorial Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, The Forgotten Hero. The screening of the film was organized on a day when the Government of India began the celebration of Netaji's 125th birth anniversary year. DD India spoke to Festival Director Chaitanya Prasad about the preparations of closing ceremony and his perspective on the festival this year.
रोज एक मंजिल को पार करना था. होपफुली बाय गॉड्स ग्रेस हम लोगों ने वो मंजिल दिन पर दिन करते करते पार कर ली. जितने हमारे क्षेत्रीय भाषा के जो फिल्म हैं, सारे लोग आ रहे हैं उनको देखने के लिए. हमारा वर्चुअल क्लासेस जो हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ा प्राइम, ये हमारे लिए सबसे बड़ी देन है. वेट एंड वॉच एज फार एज सरप्राइजेज आर कंसर्न, बट क्लोजिंग सेरेमनी विल टेक अ लीव फ्रॉम द ओपनिंग सेरेमनी. जिस तरह से हम लोगों ने किया था, देयर विल बी एंटरटेनमेंट फॉर श्योर.
And in Prayagraj, fog and cold wave led to low visibility this morning. Dense to very dense fog observed at isolated pockets of East Uttar Pradesh, while moderate fog was reported in remaining parts of the state. Minimum temperature was recorded in Prayagraj this morning and it was 10.6 degrees Celsius. In Haryana, thick fog shrouds Ambala city this morning. Ambala recorded a minimum temperature of 9.9 degrees Celsius. There was moderate fog witnessed in the national capital today morning. IMD has predicted dense fog in the coming week. Minimum temperature recorded near Safdarjung area this morning was 8.8 degrees Celsius. IMD has predicted minimum temperatures to come down to 4 degrees Celsius in the coming week. Srinagar received fresh spell of snowfall on Saturday and enveloping the plains in a layer of snow there. Several flights were cancelled due to poor visibility. Srinagar-Jammu National Highway was closed for traffic. People were seen covered in multiple layers of clothes to beat the biting cold. Meanwhile, cold conditions prevail at several places in the plains of North India. India and Bangladesh held the 19th Joint Steering Committee meeting for cooperation in the energy sector in Dhaka. Now, as per the High Commission of India in Dhaka, the meeting also discussed the status of 1,320 megawatt Maitri Super Thermal Power Project in Rampal. Detailed discussions were held on power trade between India and Bangladesh through various interconnections. The meeting discussed ways for further enhancing cooperation in the energy sector. India and Bangladesh have set up the institutional mechanism of JSC and JWG for reviewing and enhancing bilateral cooperation in the power sector between the two countries. The last meetings were held in March 2020 in Udaipur. Bangladesh is all set to inoculate its population with COVID-19 vaccine from January 27th. Bangladesh's Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is expected to launch the program virtually from her residence. On the inaugural day of the vaccination drive, 500 to 600 health professionals of 5 hospitals of Dhaka will be given the vaccine jab. Now, these medics will be observed for a week. Then the next round of listed people, as per the priority list worked out by the government, will be taken up for vaccination. Bangladesh received its first batch of 2 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine as a gift from India on Thursday. The country is set to get 30 million doses of Oxford AstraZeneca vaccines soon. It is also part of tripartite memorandum agreement on December 13th with Bangladesh government, Beximco Pharmaceuticals Limited and the Serum Institute of India, that is in Pune. Up next, very quickly, we'll get you the global update on COVID-19 when we talk of the situation. Virus has infected over 9,93,29,900 people from across the world, while more than 7,13,35,700 people have recovered from it globally. The number of lives lost due to COVID-19 stands above 21,30,000. The US continues to remain worst affected with cases crossing 2,55,58,900. It has registered more than 4,27,500 fatalities from COVID-19. Hong Kong has ordered thousands of its residents to stay at home. It has imposed lockdown for the first time to contain COVID-19 since the pandemic began. Authorities have ordered denizens to remain at home until all of them get tested for COVID-19. Hong Kong's government has deployed over 3,000 workers to monitor 150 house blocks. France has registered first decline in the number of COVID-19 patients in the ICU weeks after a period of its tremendous rise. The number of people in ICU is a key measure of the health system's ability to cope with the pandemic. The government has said that it wanted the figure to hold steady between 2,500 and 3,000 before considering loosening the curfew restrictions, but it had been increasingly steadily since early January. Also, the country has over 30,35,000 cases of COVID-19 and has registered more than 72,800 deaths so far. Renowned US television talk show host Larry King passed away on Saturday, weeks after testing positive for COVID-19. He was 87. Larry King became an icon through his interviews with world leaders, entertainers and other celebrities. His long list of interviews ranged from every president of the United States since 1974, world leaders Yasser Arafat and Vladimir Putin. After having a conversation with the new US President Joe Biden over a call, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Saturday said that he looked forward to working with Biden on shared goals, including tackling climate change. During the phone call, the two leaders discussed the prospects of a free trade deal. Johnson also welcomed Biden's decision of rejoining the 2015 Paris Climate Accord and the World Health Organization. Russian police apprehended over 3,000 protesters as violent clashes unfolded between the protesters and police. Around 40,000 protesters braved extreme cold and police warnings and thronged to demand the release of Russia's opposition leader Alexei Navalny. Also, Alexei's wife Yulia Navalny is also among the detained protesters. Alexei Navalny was detailed on his return to Moscow from Germany, first time being poisoned with a nerve agent. The authorities had warned people to stay away from Saturday's demonstrations, saying they risked catching COVID-19 as well as prosecution and possible jail term for attending the unauthorized event. The events have flared criticism from the US and European countries. The US has called it harsh tactics against protesters. The European Union's foreign policy chief, Joseph Borrell, also deplored the authorities, calling it disproportionate use of force, while Britain's foreign minister condemned the use of violence against peaceful protesters and journalists. And back home, the women's hockey team of India and Argentina will be locking horns with each other in the fourth game of the 8-match series today. In this fixture, India will be facing Argentina B team. In their previous clash in the series, India lost 1-2 to Argentina. And it was the first defeat for India in the series. The first two matches of the series ended in draws. Manchester City defeated Cheltenham fought 3-1 on Saturday in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Alfie May scored a goal for Cheltenham in 59th minute of the game, giving his side a lead over Manchester City. But things changed as the match progressed, with Phil Foden, Gabriel Jesus and Ferran Torres hitting a goal each for Manchester City. And Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana has come as a boon to economically vulnerable sections of the society. Expectations are high from this budget, especially from the Ayushman Bharat Yojana, which aims at addressing health issues holistically. We get you more in this report.
आयुष्मान भारत योजना के तहत 1.5 लाख हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर बनाने के लिए काम तेजी से चल रहा है.
Ayushman Bharat Yojana is a scheme that aims to help economically vulnerable Indians who are in need of healthcare facilities. Ayushman Bharat was launched with its twin pillars of Health and Wellness Center and Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Rolled out on 23rd September 2018 to cover about 50 crore citizens of the country, the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana already has several success stories to its credit.
आयुष्मान कार्ड योजना के तहत मुझे फ्री मिला, इंजेक्शन मिला, टेस्ट मिला, कुछ दवाई मिला, सब कुछ मिला है मुझे. मैं बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ आयुष्मान भारत योजना मोदी जी का बहुत शुक्रगुजार हूँ.
आयुष्मान कार्ड के तहत मेरा ये रीढ़ की हड्डी का ऑपरेशन हुआ है. माननीय नरेंद्र मोदी को बहुत धन्यवाद देती हूँ, जिसके कारण मेरा ये रीढ़ की हड्डी का इलाज फ्री हुआ है.
श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का हम लोग दिल से धन्यवाद करते हैं जो इस स्कीम को लाए और हम लोगों तक पहुंचाए.
मेरी पत्नी को हार्ट में प्रॉब्लम थी. डॉक्टर ने हमें 1,50,000 रुपये फीस मांगा था. मैं आरोग्य मित्र से मिला और उन्होंने गोल्डन कार्ड मुझे इशू कराया, और जब मैं दिखाया डॉक्टर को तो कहा कि अब आपको ये पैसे नहीं लगेंगे, इस योजना के तहत आप पंजीकृत हो गए.
Under the scheme, around 10.74 crore poor and vulnerable families are entitled for health cover of rupees 5 lakh per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization. As of now, 32 states and union territories are implementing the scheme, and over 1.53 crore hospitalization admission have been authorized since its inception. So far, 13.32 crore e-cards have been issued under the scheme for facilitating easy availing of benefits. The scheme also saw 24,126 hospitals empaneled since its launch. During the COVID-19 pandemic, 9.6 lakh COVID tests performed, while 3.7 lakh people were provided with the treatment. So far, 1,100 crore worth testing and treatment were performed under the scheme. Since the launch of the scheme, rupees 6,301 crore have been disbursed to states and union territories for implementation of the program. Amidst the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, India managed to make functional 56,311 Ayushman Bharat health and wellness centers across the country. So far, approval for more than 1,05,000 health and wellness centers have been accorded. Expectations are high from this budget, especially from the Ayushman Bharat Yojana, which aim at addressing health issues holistically in primary, secondary and tertiary care system, covering both preventive and health promotions. Tapush Bhattacharya's report, TD India.
All right, that's it in this edition of the News This Hour. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.